The following podcast may contain adult language and an abundance of salt. So get ready, nerds, because we're talking about Richard B. Riddick. That's his name, Richard B. Riddick.
Richard
B. Riddick.
Riddick. What does the B stand for?
I have no idea. Badass.
Burton.
Bartholomew.
Richard Badass Riddick.
Dick Riddick.
Dick Riddick. Big Dick Riddick.
Big Dick Riddick.
That's awesome. All right.
We're talking about Big Dick Riddick today.
It's
He
gotta
just
be.
walks onto a planet like he's got that big dick energy. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Everywhere he goes, he's like says 5 words, and everyone's like, "Look at the dick on that guy."
Keep moving.
He's wearing cargo shorts, and it's just peeking out the bottom.
He's like love sausage.
You're not afraid of the dark, are you? I'm afraid of that dick.
I'm gonna take a shower.
And so it begins.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody. And thank you for joining us on the Salty Nerd Podcast. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Riddick Trilogy, Pitch Black, Chronicles of Riddick, and Riddick, the movie. I guess that's what it's called, right? Just Riddick.
Yeah.
And I'm joined, as always, by my fantastic panel of nerds. And Vader's out today, so we've got Tom filling in. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. I always enjoy the show. I hate all of these movies, and I love them all at the exact same time.
Oh, my God.
Really excited to flip-flop back and forth on every opinion I have. So.
Also, the ambassador of estrogen, Jude. Welcome.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are
Ready
you
to talk
today?
about Big Dick Riddick?
Big Dick Riddick.
And the producer of the show, Matthew Kadish. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. And for those of you who didn't get that joke, the character's name is Richard B. Riddick, otherwise known as Big.
Yeah.
Biggie
Richard
Smalls.
Dick Big Riddick. That's amazing. I don't even care what his name actually is. All right, guys. Before we get started, we're going to take a break to listen to some sponsors. We'll be right back.
His name is Richard Wang Johnson. It's hyphenated.
Yeah.
Wang Johnson.
Welcome back, everybody. Hey, if you want to support the podcast, if you like what we do here, don't forget to like and subscribe on the YouTube channel, or go to saltynerdclub.com. There you can join our Patreon team, and you can have exclusive access to all kinds of really cool stuff, especially our fantastic blooper reels, where we say obnoxious things that would be taken off the internet. You can get them for $3. Join the $3 tier, and you can get access to that awesome blooper reel every single week. All right, guys, let's get into this first movie, Pitch Black. Go ahead, take it away, Jude.
All right. The year 2000, Pitch Black, rated R with a runtime of 1 hour, 49 minutes. With a budget of $23 million. What do you gentlemen think that it brought into the box?
Ooh.
Oh, I'm going to say 38. This is like a cult classic almost, I feel like. I don't think it did very well.
I think only men went and saw this, and no one knew who Vin Diesel was back then.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going to go with like 35.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
It
Yeah.
produced 2 sequels.
Yeah, but it was a cult movie by then because the sequel didn't come out for years after.
$53 million. It doubled its budget.
So, yeah, okay.
Nearly.
That would
Okay.
make sense. You would need to double your budget if you're going to be making sequels.
I
That,
guess.
that would
Yeah.
actually make sense. Yeah.
All right, so here's the synopsis. Riddick is on his way back to prison when the transport ship he's being held in gets hit with a bunch of rocks and crash lands on a
Can we pause
planet.
for 1 second on that? Like, he's on his way back to prison.
Yeah,
Like,
he's a convict.
like
Yeah.
it's on his way back. Okay, go ahead.
He took the midnight train going anywhere.
They keep a cell open for me.
He does
He's
mention.
being transported back.
Yeah.
Okay.
To prison
Yeah.
by Johns.
Back.
By
back to
Johns?
prison.
Johns, yeah.
Johns.
All right. The transport ship gets hit with a bunch of rocks and crash lands on a planet about to be cast into total darkness by an eclipse.
Hit with a bunch of rocks.
Yep, asteroids.
Yes.
Stop interrupting her.
Jesus Christ, man.
He's new, Jude. He's new.
Once darkness falls, creatures emerge from beneath the planet's surface and begin attacking all of the crash survivors. Being the only one who can see in the dark due to a prison surgery, because he was in prison before, Tom, Riddick is the
In
only
prison.
one who can guide the remaining humans to safety.
So since you brought it up, and I was under the impression that all Furians had the eyes, because we'll talk about it in the sequel.
No.
But he basically lied to Jack about that.
Yes.
He's like, you got to go to a prison where they say you'll never see daylight again.
Yeah.
And you get some doctor and pay him 20 menthol cools to glaze your eyes. That turned out to be a complete pile of shit. That was a lie.
Complete lie. Yes.
Yeah.
Was it though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in the second movie,
Jack says, well, Jack or Chris, whatever the
Jack,
name is.
Kira.
says, you lied to me about everything. He goes, yeah, I did.
so it's a lie. So
I'm a man. I'm entitled to lie to bitches
yeah,
if I feel like
yeah.
it.
That BB.
That ain't even your name. We'll get there.
we'll get there. But that's my impression. I don't know how accurate that is. I'd have to dive a little deeper into the lore.
I didn't get that either. I just got that he had that done in prison.
Yeah.
And because they wrote it that way for this movie.
Yeah.
And then in the sequel,
They
I guess
changed
she
it.
just couldn't find the same doctor in prison.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. We'll see. So opening thoughts. I freaking love this movie. It's not great. It kind of has like a low budget feel, a little artsy fartsy sometimes with the camera angles and the way they put the filters on and stuff like to make it look alien. It feels a little low budget, but I love it, man. It's just so much damn fun. And Riddick, Riddick's a freaking awesome character. Like I've played the video game that they came out with him. I've watched that cartoon movie that they made. Like Riddick is a character that I will go back to.
Did the video game come out before or after the movie?
After.
Had to be
okay.
after, yeah.
Okay.
It was
I didn't know if this was based on anything.
No, this is an original work. Is that correct, Gage?
Actually,
Original content?
I think so.
What?
actually, so the guy who wrote and directed this, David Twohy.
Is that how you say that?
Twohy.
David Twohy. This was basically his draft for the script for Alien 3 that Fox rejected, and then he was like, "I'm just gonna take this and make my own thing out of it." So this was actually
well done, sir.
This was actually the basis for his version of Aliens 3.
So that
would have been better than what we got.
So that's Ripley and Hicks and
Yeah.
and Newt. And,
Yeah.
and
Aw.
that's interesting.
And originally, the character of Riddick was going to be a woman, but they changed it.
So it was Ripley.
Well, I don't know. Would Riddick have been Ripley, or would it just been a new character? Because Ripley's kind of like the captain of this ship, right? Her the blonde chick in this movie.
Look at me.
Ooh, and then she was supposed
I'm
to
the captain
die.
now.
I'm the captain now. Yeah, that's interesting. And the aliens in this movie, these like little echolocation, I don't know, hammerhead shark things, would be the alien, the xenomorph.
Sure.
I could dig it. Yeah, it's very interesting. I can see the foundation of which they were trying to build it on, but I'm kind of glad we got this movie instead, though.
It's more aligned with the Aliens universe than it is with the own universe that it creates for itself.
Oh my god,
over the next
they
two
go
movies.
so far left field
yeah.
in the
It
next
doesn't make
movie.
any sense.
I think this movie is obviously the best of the three. And I kind of wish that it had just stayed its own thing because
It's just like a standalone.
yeah, I mean, it's like you said, it's not a good movie, but it's a fun movie and it's great in that way.
Yeah,
It is badass.
It is badass. It's got a lot of big dick energy throughout the whole thing.
yes.
A lot of testosterone.
A lot of
yeah.
testosterone,
Yes.
a lot of muscles. Yeah, I don't
Sun's
know.
out, guns out.
I feel like if it had just been this one thing, it would have gained in its cult classic appreciation more so than like keep pumping out these sequels to it, and then it just kind of like takes away from the original goofiness of the first one.
Yeah, this one has like a strange sense of humor to it.
Yeah.
It's a very dark sense of humor because there's like lines that Riddick will say, and it's just like, oh my god, dude, somebody just died. And he's
Yeah.
like, oh well. I love it. My favorite part is I think when Johns is like, what is it? He's like talking to Riddick, like, you're the only one who can see. Does it look clear? And he's like, yeah, it looks clear. And he pops out, and then the thing comes out. He's like, I thought you said it looks clear. And he's like, well, it did. You know, like it does.
He's like, how's
"What
it look now?
Looks clear.
clear.
Like it's got a lot of like undertoned humor to it. I
Yeah.
really enjoy that aspect of it. And
Well, I think that just goes more to show like that Vin Diesel has like comedic timing more so than it was written to be funny.
yeah. And Riddick is such a cool character too, because he's like this badass murderous dude, like assassin, but then he has this like weird morality and also a sense of humor at the same time. So he's not just a flat character. He has a
he's
lot of
very charismatic.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because, you know, this was meant to be like just a one-off low budget movie. It was going to be the directorial debut of David Twohy. And you know, Vin Diesel wasn't a known actor at this point. Like he was just like a nobody as well. And while they were shooting this movie, which they shot at the same place where Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome
Nice.
was shot in Australia.
Hell yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did. And basically they, as they were shooting it, Vin Diesel in his portrayal of Riddick was so interesting that the entire cast was like, you know, he's really going to be the star of this movie. And in the original script, he was supposed to die. So like when he's getting the people to the ship, like he dies instead of the woman. And they were like, you know what? We think that there's sequel potential here with this character. So we're going to have him live, and we're going to kill off, you know, this other woman. And basically that was the start of it. And Vin Diesel's always had like a very special place in his heart for this character, because this was like his first like big role and his breakout.
And then he did Fast and Furious the next year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay,
and
cool.
then there's, you know, a million sequels to that too.
Yeah.
What is this film you're speaking of?
Fast and the Furious?
Never heard of it.
Get out of here.
No, I've never seen it. I've heard of it. Yeah, I've never seen
You've
it.
never seen Fast and the Furious?
Never seen a
The
single
first one?
This is one of those
Never seen a
things
single one.
that Tom likes to be like, I haven't seen it, and therefore I'm never going
On
to.
principle
I didn't
alone.
say I'm
Principle.
never going to. I just
Yeah.
never have. It's never come up. I've never like I never sat in Alex's living room and he's like, dude, let's watch like Fast and
and the Furious.
And I'm like, no. That's never happened.
Tom lives his life a quarter mile at a time.
He does.
I don't get that reference. I don't get that reference either.
The first movie's legit good. But you know what's funny is like it's so old now that their whole plan was to steal DVD players. Because
Yeah.
they were worth so
Are
much
we
money.
going to sit here and review Fast and the Furious
No,
instead?
but I
of
just want like
Pitch Black?
the ridiculousness of it is just hilarious. But anyway, Pitch Black is amazing. Kadish, what are your thoughts on this movie? Do you enjoy it?
I do. I really like this movie. It's got some great like kind of genre character actors in it, like Claudia Black, Kieth David. So it's got like a really good cast. In fact, Cole Hauser, like Jude just started watching Yellowstone, and I had to be like, "That's the guy from Yellowstone." She was like, "Really?"
He's so young in this. He looks completely different.
Which one is it?
John's.
John's? Oh, okay,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, Cole Hauser's in a million things.
He's in a
Yeah.
million things.
It's
Like,
like
he was in
Hollywood
he was in Goodwill
Yeah,
Hunting.
they kept trying to make him something, and
Yeah.
because he's gorgeous. I mean, look at the guy, but it just never went anywhere. Yeah, never went anywhere.
He plays a great, like, overly dickish.
This character.
Yeah, this character's amazing.
He's
John's
great at that character.
so awesome.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's so conniving and like evil. It's funny because very early in the movie, Riddick is the bad guy, right? He's the antagonist to the whole group. He's the murderer. He's the escaped convict. Everybody's scared of him. But then as you progress, you realize who the real villains are.
Yeah.
And I also like how this movie kind of like shines a spotlight on the flaws of every single one of these characters. Like the preacher, big flaw is that his belief in God is kind of like he's just going on pure faith and everything goes wrong for him. And Riddick's like, I do believe in God and I absolutely hate the fucker. Like it's just like, it's so cool to shine a light on that. And then you get Johns, of course, who's like super dickish, and then the captain who is
He's also a drug addict.
He's also a drug addict, and then you get the captain lady who is like gonna sacrifice the whole crew just to save her own skin. Like it does a really great job of breaking down each one of these characters. I think this movie is like really underrated. People don't talk about it enough.
And like at the beginning of the movie, like you said, like she was about to sacrifice everyone on the ship just to save herself. And then by the time we get to the end of the movie in her character arc, she decides she would die for that.
Yeah.
And she does.
Yeah. And that's Riddick's whole point too, is like he was like trying to push people to see who they really were. And I like that aspect of him. Like he's playing these like crazy little mind games with these people. He's like, you die for them. He's like, yes, I would. And he's like, all right, cool. We're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, when your back's up against the wall, who are you really?
Yeah, exactly.
It exposes, when you're under pressure, that really exposes people. You find out who's a coward. You find out who's only in it for themselves. You find that out when the chips are stacked
down
against you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And Riddick's just the guy where he's like, yeah, I kill everything that moves. If it moves, I'll kill it.
But I also like how he kind of can see through everybody's facade.
Yeah.
You know, he nails.
He's savvy.
Yeah, he's very savvy.
He's the only one that knew that Jack was a girl.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's because he has Wolverine's sense of smell.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
True.
could smell
He's like,
her menstrual cycle.
We'll never make it because the girl's bleeding. It's like, what did you just say?
Bears and Riddick.
So what did you guys think about that? Did you guys, I mean, obviously this is not the first time I've seen this movie, but do you remember if you were caught off guard by Jack being a girl?
As a girl the whole time. I mean,
You knew?
it's pretty obvious, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it was very obvious.
Oh, I didn't think
like
it was
even
that
when
obvious.
because I went and saw this in the theater when
Me
it first
too.
came out,
Yes.
and as soon as that actor came on screen, I was like, that's a girl,
That's a girl.
Oh, okay.
For sure.
totally.
I just wasn't paying close enough attention to her, I guess. I
You
was like,
smart boys.
yeah.
You don't see gender; it's a construct, Alex.
Don't even get me started on that
All
nonsense. Okay.
But did anybody else have the hots for the captain chick the entire time?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, I'm so into
Yeah?
it.
Who's the hottest guy in this movie, Jude?
Hottest guy?
Yeah.
The preacher.
Okay.
Wow. Because it ain't gonna suck itself.
Because he wants to say no,
Yeah.
but he really wants to say yes.
Yeah.
You can touch it, but don't
Who's
suck
the
it.
hottest guy?
He's got a-
Yeah, who do you think? Like, who's got your game going on in this movie?
I don't know. I think when it first came out in 2000, you're obviously like, ooh, Vin Diesel, he's hot. Who's that guy?
Yeah.
And now let's see how they've aged. And I'm like, ooh, cool. Cole Hauser. That's my man.
Yeah.
Well,
Nice.
Yeah, I was making this joke when Vin Diesel first came out, nobody saw the Jersey Shore. And you didn't know that was a character that already existed in the world. And then you found out who the situation was. And you're like, oh, Vin Diesel sucks. That guy is the worst.
No, you know, I kind of like him. I don't have a problem with Vin Diesel. Like he definitely has to play a certain character.
The same character.
That's okay.
Okay.
Keanu Reeves plays the same character.
He's
in every
bad
movie.
at acting too.
And but he's great in his movies.
Is he?
Yeah.
Or
John Wick, The Matrix.
I feel like
It's the same character.
I feel like he's the worst part.
No, I disagree.
He moves all awkwardly. He has no athleticism whatsoever. To watch him move makes me uncomfortable.
He can do all that stuff in real life.
Yeah.
The gunslinging, the gung
I've
fu.
seen YouTube. I know.
I know.
Yeah. But the way he moves, like, even in Matrix, his martial arts abilities were terrible.
Mm.
I've done a lot of martial arts. He's not good.
Okay.
Just
So don't pick a fight with you. Copy. All right.
that's right. Get that big dick energy.
Richard Big Dick Riddick.
It was funny, like rewatching this. I was like, oh, they gave him like a first name and middle initial, and like I had totally forgotten about that.
Yeah.
That is funny.
because like you just always call him Riddick.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, he's a Dick Riddick.
Yeah. He's legit. Like they
I think it makes
spelled out
him
the
way
character.
less cool.
Really?
Knowing that he has a middle name. Yeah. It bothers me.
And like in
If he was
the,
just Cher, okay, all right.
It's like you wonder how he signs his name. you know?
Yes.
It's like
Richard B.
big old
Riddick.
B.
Yeah. I'm guessing big R, swiggle, big B, and then Prince Riddick.
with a stamp.
Like aggressive, like just,
in blood.
yes.
Yeah.
There's torn pages. It's really crazy.
All right, let's talk about the creature effects in this movie.
The special effects actually hold up pretty good.
They're not bad.
But you know, the trick to that was that they knew that they didn't have a big budget. So they made everything dark on purpose to hide the bad CGI.
Battle of Winterfell just happening all over.
It's not that bad.
No, it's
though.
not that bad.
You can actually see what's going on.
Yeah, you can actually see. There's actually one scene where like purposely they black out the entire area around them and they're carrying those like fiber optic glowing cables or whatever. That was a really cool set piece.
The rave cables.
Yeah, the rave cables, and they're all like walking around. And then that stupid freaking French dude like panics and runs away and ruins it for everybody.
it really irritates me when people are like just doing dumb bullshit things in movies.
The preacher is the worst. I'll be right back. I have to go get something out of the ship. And then
You ain't
everybody's
coming
like,
back, bro.
we gotta leave.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the antique dealer.
Yeah, yeah.
The antique dealer. Yeah, well, he was gonna die.
Yeah, he's obvious.
Yeah, if you made if you put all these people in a lineup and said which one's gonna die,
That dude.
that dude's definitely dying.
Yeah.
Like,
So we start off with what, like 10 survivors?
I can't
ish,
remember.
yeah, 10-ish. Yeah,
Because the preacher had like 3 people with him, right?
Yeah.
The kids.
they all
Yeah.
died.
And they all died.
Yeah,
And then you had the preacher, Jack, the captain, Johns.
The guy that like
that was only on screen.
flew out back there, and then he like treks over to where everybody is, and he's
And then
like,
gets shot.
"Oh my god, I thought I was the only survivor." And other dude comes up behind him and murders him.
just blows him away.
Oh shit! I thought he was somebody
I
else.
thought he was Riddick. Whoops.
Bros, my bad. Bros.
One of my favorite
Let's
scenes.
not tell anyone about that.
One of my favorite scenes in this movie is when like they're hunting for Riddick and they're like, you know, getting all dirty in the ground, like looking for him, and he's just like sitting on top of like the spaceship, like
Yeah.
under
Like
an
a
umbrella,
lifeguard.
Oh
like,
yeah, he's having a picnic. He's got a parasol. It's not even an umbrella. It's a parasol.
He's great though. That's kind of like that's that quirky personality that they
Yeah.
have Riddick in this movie where he's just like
No, he's great in this.
He's
Yeah,
fantastic.
he's really great in this.
and he's on top of the game everywhere he goes. He's like 3 steps ahead of everybody.
And it's
I-
before his Fast and the Furious, like before he became Vin Diesel.
yeah.
Vin Diesel.
Yes,
Vin
exactly.
Diesel. What a name
Like
though.
he named himself that.
Yeah.
You know?
I am
Yeah.
Groot.
If you named yourself anything,
Diesel
would it be Vin Diesel?
All right. Does anybody have anything else you guys want to talk about this movie? I mean, I love it from start to finish. I have a blast with it. I think all the characters really well fleshed out. The big set piece at the end when they're running through his confrontation with Johns, love it. I think it's on point. That fight scene was epic when he broke his elbow.
Yeah.
He just like snaps it back in place. Oh,
Yeah, I remember watching this in the theater. I remember it was me and like 4 dudes that I was friends with, and just leaving that theater wanting to purchase goggles and
shave your
head. And I need a blade. Like I really adopted that persona for maybe like a month and a half. Like I was only doing awesome stuff. Like just
started Googling how to shine your eyes.
Yeah.
Actually, the contact lenses that they had made for him that were like reflective contact lenses, they actually offered those after this movie came out, like for public use. And
really?
Promotional product?
Those, yeah.
Oh my God.
You mean to tell me on eBay I can get Riddick eyes?
Yeah, probably.
I'm so down. Does it actually give you the ability to freaking look at see at night?
Shut up, Alex. It doesn't matter.
That's what I liked. That's one of the things I liked about this is when you got to see what Riddick sees.
Oh, yeah.
And he can see, like, everything's kind of purple and you could see, like, all of the creepy crawlies coming out
Yeah.
now that it's dark out and only he can see them.
Yeah, that's a really cool.
And he's like, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful. No, he says it like beautiful. Like he's all animalistic, you know? Such a badass
Well,
character.
isn't that part of it? He's like, when you sleep in dead space,
Yeah.
only the animal brain's
Yeah.
alive. That's why I'm alive. And you're like,
The primitive side.
it's so testosterone.
Oh my God, I love it.
Like it needs more femininity.
No, it does not.
It does. It
Shut
really
up,
does.
Tom.
It's just-
Shut up.
I feel like I can smell the testosterone when
Yes.
I'm watching
Oh my
this
God, everybody's
movie.
sweaty in this movie.
I'm like,
Oh,
do you
yeah.
guys smell like musk? Is there musk in
what's
here?
funny is in the location they were shooting at, it was all like 50 degrees, and so like they had to get misted before each take to make it look
Oh,
like they
wow.
were sweaty.
oh
Because it
man.
was actually like really cold when they were shooting it. But there's
50 degrees in Australia. Isn't that like 700 degrees?
No, it's not Celsius.
Oh, okay. All right.
but there's a scene in this movie where Riddick kind of like does this thing where he dislocates his shoulder.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, just both arms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Vin Diesel actually performed that.
What?
No.
No, he actually did that.
That's not camera trickery?
Nope.
Oh my gosh, that's news to me.
That is the situation.
He's even more
That
badass.
is the situation.
The thing is though, like he couldn't do it with like his hands like cuffed. So like he had to just be like holding on to like this rope that made it look like he was handcuffed when he did
Mhm.
it.
Oh, yeah. I remember the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can I
That's
do that?
real?
That was 100% real.
That's some yoga shit right there.
I can't do that. That's
no.
crazy though.
Like,
Good
just-
for him, man.
I don't know.
It's awesome.
I'm like,
We're gonna walk
it?
out of here like, oh my
it?
God, my shoulders.
just come over here and give me a push. If Vin Diesel can do it, I can do it. Damn it.
The thing I really liked about this movie is that, you know, when I first saw it, I had no context for it, but it did a really good job of creating like this science fiction universe. And the key to any good science fiction or fantasy story is world building. And so you really got a good sense of like what this kind of sci-fi world
The
that we're watching
technology
is.
and all that.
Yeah. And unfortunately in future movies, they kind of throw a lot of that aside for nonsense.
Don't they ever?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
But one of the things that really annoyed me in this movie was when the planet with the rings kind of comes up and blocks out one of the suns. And I was like, you know, just physics wise, like if that planet was that big and that close,
Oh, gravity would be.
yeah, that planet would be
Yeah.
crashing into it. Like it was way too close.
I mean, you could say that the planet that they were on was more like a moon to the bigger planet. But I don't know. I like that little I don't know what the toy solar
The
system.
model.
Yeah, the model
Yeah, the
solar
model
system that
solar
they have.
system, yeah.
That was pretty cool. I like how the realization would like tick, 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 click, and they're like, oh no.
Here's
Yeah.
here's a good question. Why did they have that besides plot device?
Well, it was part of the
Because there were no survivors to tell them what happened. You
Yeah.
needed
Yeah.
the model.
Plot device, I know, but like, okay, you're on this planet, you're mining for minerals.
Mhm.
Let's build a model solar system, and we can just track the sun.
Were they miners or were they scientists? Because they were doing core samples and
they broke open the cave
they-
where the things came out.
Maybe
of.
I'm mixing the movies, but they're either like an
It's-
expeditionary force or something.
Well, they have a drill bit. The scene where the
Well, then
preacher's
they have
kid.
core samples.
Yeah, they have a core samples with a drill bit. So I would classify that as being a group
But
of
do you
miners,
need-
scientists.
do you
I mean,
need
I have a drill bit, but I'm not a miner.
Hey yo.
I don't know.
I got that big drill bit energy.
It doesn't work when you say it, Jude.
I know, it's lame when I say it. I'm sorry.
Yep. But butch that voice up and try it again.
Sorry.
Let's see.
Please excuse my vagina.
So anyway, I don't know. I think it's an interesting setup. I do like the technology, like Katee was saying, like when they establish this world that we're in, everything feels very tangible. Nothing's too scientific-y where you're like, oh my God, there's no way that would be possible. We're in like this next movie we're going to talk about.
Do we know what year it is?
In this movie?
Yeah.
25 something, right? 2557, I think it said in the opening credits.
Yeah, they also
That sounds right.
They also have the date on the core samples and stuff, but it's pretty far into the future.
Yeah, it's like 500 years or
So
something.
500-year future. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things I liked is that they actually built like a model for the spaceship.
I do love practical effects.
Yeah, practical effects.
I'm a junkie for practical effects. CGI is cool, but
Practical effects.
practical effects is where it's at.
Yeah.
Man.
It always is.
I'm a Star Wars kid. You know, I like the costumes.
Yeah,
I like
Alien.
it's great.
Yeah.
Predator. It's in a costume. I like it.
The Nostromos, you know, when it's flying by, it's just this giant freaking model.
It's awesome.
It's great. It's great.
It's awesome.
It's always the way to go when you go, especially when you have a low budget.
Yeah.
It's much better to do a model versus a CGI, which you know is not going to age well. But anyway, okay, so let's do final thoughts on Pitch Black. Tom, what do you got for us, man? Give this a rating. What would you rate this movie from 1 to 5?
It's definitely my favorite of the three. And if we're going 1 to 5, I mean, it's not a good movie, but it's a lot of fun. 3.5.
Do you have any criticisms? What do you mean when you say it's not a good movie? What would make it better?
If they didn't make the other two.
Yes.
Yeah. If they didn't make, because that can ruin like a franchise.
Yeah.
Right? The second one, I mean, the third, okay, we can get into that later, but the second one just makes it just doesn't make any sense at all. And this world, we were talking earlier, it's like an Aliens vibe.
Mm-hmm.
This one very much is. But the second one is like Jupiter ascending vibes. And you're like, this is nonsense. What am I looking at?
Yeah.
So that's my biggest problem. Is
Okay.
that it's not the same universe. It's weird. This movie by itself, cool, fun.
4 or 5?
3.5.
3.5?
Just because the other ones ruin it for me.
Really?
The other one sucks so bad.
Wow. Okay. Jude, how about you? Final thoughts and give it a rating.
I feel similarly. I like this movie, but like Tom said, like the other two kind of ruin it for me. And I feel like in order to appreciate this one, you're like you watch it and you're like, oh, that was so good. Oh, there's 2 more. I'm gonna watch those 2, and it kind of ruins what you liked about the first one. So I agree with you. I'm gonna give it 3 out of 5. Core samples.
Okay. Do you have a favorite moment or least favorite moment?
I like when you get to see like what Riddick sees, and I really like that scene where he's like facing off with the alien and he's doing this.
he's matching its blind spot.
Yeah.
That is
he's
fun.
like kind of swimming with it and staying in his blind spot. I like that. That's really cool.
Right on. How about you, Katee?
I really enjoyed this movie. I've enjoyed it ever since I first saw it in the theater. I give it a solid, 3 glowy eyes out of 5. But the sequels to this didn't ruin this movie for me, like they did for the rest of you, because like I feel like this movie like originally was going to be standalone, and they just tacked on stuff to try to make it into a franchise. And I think as a standalone movie, it works really well. All the characters are really good. My only real complaint is that some of the characters die because they're just stupid and they do stupid stuff, and that's kind of par for the course for movies like these. But I would have liked to have had the characters be a little bit more intelligent and die in a little bit more creative ways. But overall, I feel like, as an introduction to the character of Riddick, he's the consummate survivor. He's always the guy who makes it through to the end, and I like that this movie really kind of like fleshes him out and sets the stage for what we get going forward. So I liked it. Good world building, good action, good concept.
Yep.
Good movie.
I agree with Katee. So I don't think the other two ruined this one for me. I can still go back and watch this one and have just as much fun. My favorite scene, I think, has got to be the ending fight with Johns, where it's just him versus Riddick, and Riddick just has such a crazy upper hand. And he's like backs into the shadow, and he's like, alone. You're all alone, Johns. Johns. He's just like taunting him, and it's awesome. I love Riddick's character. So I'd give this probably 3.5 out of 5. The only criticism I have is really just how the budget kind of kills it for me a little bit. Sometimes they did this one scene where it was like a fisheye lens, and you see him walking through the desert. It just kind of looks goofy, and the filters that they put over the camera to make it look like it's alien, it's kind of just chintzy to me. I don't really like that aspect of it. I wish they had put a little bit more effort into
that's very
selling.
late 90s.
Yeah.
Like low budget filmmaking.
Yeah, I understand why they did it. It's just that's the only criticism I can really think of. I love all the characters. Richard B. Riddick is amazing. I love his character. I love John's. I love the preacher, the dumb freaking antiques dealer.
Yeah.
I mean, there's dumb people out there.
He had all that booze.
He had all the alcohol.
Yeah, I like that guy.
That guy, you needed that guy.
He had Mayan blow darts for some reason.
So yeah, solid 3.5 for me. Really enjoy this movie. All right, guys, that's it for our discussion of Pitch Black. We're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about the Chronicles of Riddick. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, if you guys would like to support the podcast, you can go to saltynerdstore.com. There you can grab some of our awesome merch. You can help support the podcast by rocking some of our t-shirts. We've got stickers, magnets, all kinds of really cool stuff. And all the money that goes through that website trickles down to the podcast so we can make more awesome content for you. All right, let's get into the Chronicles of Riddick. Ju, take it away.
2004, Chronicles of Riddick, rated R with a runtime of 1 hour, 59 minutes. Had a budget of $105 million.
Damn.
What do you think?
I'm going to say 130. Barely made its budget.
My God, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Even that sounds like a lot. I'm gonna say 90.
115.
Yeah.
$115.9
Barely
million
made it, okay.
dollars at the box.
Everybody who put money into it made $100.
Yeah, it was considered a flop.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, this one's bad. I can't believe they made another one after it.
Well,
There's a funny story to that.
They-
Well,
We'll get
let me
into.
tell you what the synopsis
Yeah.
saith.
My God, what am I looking at?
Helion Prime has put a bounty out on Riddick in order to get him to defend their planet from an invasion of necromongers who would kill or convert all human life.
He's like, I know a guy with a knife.
Riddick gives no shits about the fight and
Yeah.
just wants to find Jack, who is in prison on Crematoria, a hell planet that reaches 700 degrees during sunrise. After he breaks her out of hell jail, the necromongers decide they've got to for sure kill Riddick, as he's the last Furian alive who could kill the Lord Leader of the necromongers. In the final battle, Jack, whose name is now Kyra, gets fatally wounded, so Riddick goes full Furian and kills the Lord Leader, and now all of his Armada guys answer to Riddick. The end. This movie's so bad.
so badass.
You didn't let me finish.
All right.
Bad period.
So you guys really aren't in you and Tom both.
Oh God, it's so bad. This
Why?
is why I never watched the next one.
Oh, okay.
I watched it this week for the first time,
Mhm.
and it's not nearly as bad as this one. This one makes zero sense.
That's my problem.
But the only thing that I like about it is that we get a little bit more backstory on like what Riddick is and why
Do we?
he's such a badass.
Do
He's
we?
a Furian.
Yeah.
Whatever.
A Furian, which means something apparently.
What is that?
Well, they went full like Jesus complex with him in this movie. Like
Yes.
he's the savior. He's the lone survivor who can defeat the big bad.
There was a prophecy.
Yeah.
Yes,
They
he's-
put the prophecy.
yes, he's
That
a
was the biggest
prophecy.
problem with this movie is they made him into like space Jesus.
I just want to list off
Jesus.
this movie has so many good actors too. Like people that have gone on to be
Oh,
very
Judi
Karl
Dench?
Urban.
Judi Dench,
Carl
Karl
Urban
what's her name?
from Westworld. What's her name?
Thandi Newton.
Yeah.
Thandi Newton.
Thandie Newton.
The other chick, Gamora. What's her name?
Gamora.
Isn't that her?
No,
That's not her.
No, that's Thandi Newton.
that's
Ky-
Thandi Newton.
Kyra?
That's the same person.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Okay, so you guys both don't like it because of the story. Is there aspects of it that you do like?
I don't like it for the same reason I said this movie ruined Pitch Black. Is that this movie ruins Pitch Black? This takes us into a different universe completely, different technology completely, different timelines, different. I mean, it opens up so many weird possibilities that they never really explain or get to at
Mhm.
any point. And there's these necromongers and their religion that they never ever explain.
Well, okay.
The whole thing is stupid.
I've heard a lot of criticisms about the necromancer's religion not making any sense, and I'm like, name me a religion that does make sense.
No, not that it doesn't make sense. They never explain it.
Well,
It's
they
like,
want
he
to get to
saw-
the
They have dumb words. He saw the underverse.
The underverse.
Like, well, good enough for me.
he came back from the underverse,
Yeah.
from the gates of hell as like a half dead,
How?
half alive.
How?
That doesn't matter. He's
It does
he's
matter.
a pilgrimage.
When you convert into a necromonger, you get to see what he saw.
yeah,
A glimpse.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's just
Worth
it's
it.
organized religion in a nutshell, man. It's just craziness that people have
But where
to
do they
follow
come
along
from?
with.
well, who built these ships? If they lose them, are they building them someplace else? Do they have infrastructure?
You ask for too much.
I ask, as a war movie, does any of that make any sense?
You know what the
It's
best
spaces,
part of this
you know,
movie is?
Yeah.
Spacist?
The jailbreak.
Spacist.
Is that a
The
new word?
jailbreak.
That's spacist of you.
That's the most annoying woke thing anybody ever said to me. That's a real xenophobe. Oh!
That was fun saying it, though. All right, go ahead, Jude.
The best part
You
of this movie
spacist son of a bitch.
is the jailbreak.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, that's the good part?
That's
So honestly,
the best part.
okay, my thoughts on this. This is a very much a guilty pleasure movie for me.
Wow.
I know it's
You
not
know
good.
what?
Yeah, that makes sense, though.
I fucking bet it is,
Yeah,
Alex.
this movie and Sahara, your two
Yeah,
favorite.
wow.
Sahara's good.
No.
I love this stupid movie. I do.
Hey, we're going to the desert.
That's why he loves it.
Yeah, well, you could like it because it sucks.
I do like it because it sucks.
I
No,
love
he
a lot of
likes it because there's a desert. He's like, oh, a desert movie? Oh, I'm in.
No, the opening sequence where Riddick's got like dreadlocks and the full beard and he's running away from the mercs. I love that whole sequence. He's like, dude, he just ghosted 2 of our guys. We haven't even seen him. He's like, you're my new gunner. Get out there. Riddick's such a badass in this movie. It's so much fun to watch. Why are you looking at me like you're dumbfounded?
Because you're trying to intellectually defend this nonsense of a movie.
It's so much fun.
It's a guy with a knife.
Yeah. And he's that badass.
He's got a whole ship.
Yes.
Fly a little higher.
They couldn't. They were in the canyon.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, they got like 2 guys like hanging on the outside.
It's like on a bungee cord.
Like no facial coverings as they're flying through a winter planet.
A net
You know,
gun.
Yeah,
A net
with
gun.
a net gun.
They had to catch him alive because he's worth more money.
Shoot a dart. A net gun. What is he, a
The
fish?
necromancers?
This is stupid.
Ridiculous. But the concept of them is pretty interesting to me. I find it very fascinating. And this like warrior, weird religious culture that goes and like just takes over planets.
I know.
It's kind of fun.
Okay, did you ever play Warhammer 40,000?
That's where the armor came from, right?
Yes,
Of
it's
the
like,
over-
it's like all the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's exactly
Yeah.
what that video game's like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had fun with it. I just have fun. I'm not saying it's good.
With the video game or the movie?
No, the movie.
Oh, the
I
video
don't
game
give a
was
crap
really
about
fun.
the
It
video
was a
game.
really good time.
I'm sure. No, but I have fun with it. I love that like Riddick just doesn't care about anything in this movie. He's just like
He cares
he's got
about Jack.
He cares about Jack. He's got his one goal.
Yeah.
And everybody else is just in his way. That's Riddick, man. That's his personality. I like that about him.
Yeah, so with this movie, it was, I think it was a 10-year gap between this movie and Pitch Black. But Vin Diesel had blown up, and Universal was looking for like a new franchise.
Yeah.
And around this time, like they were trying to really launch Vin Diesel, like with the Triple X franchise and the Fast and Furious, and with this one,
Wait, are you saying there's supposed to be a 10-year gap in the movie
no,
between?
in the movie,
or like in our...
That
Yeah.
also sounds about right.
Yeah,
no,
because Jack was a young. Sorry.
in the movie, there's a 5-year gap between Pitch Black and the Chronicles of Riddick.
Okay.
In real time, it was like close to.
It was
I
only 4
believe-
years.
Okay, close to 4 years. So I was wrong, but yeah.
Oh, I love it when that happens.
But in the movies,
Validation.
there's a 5-year gap between each movie in
Okay.
movie time.
Okay.
Is
Okay.
it five? Okay.
Because
All right.
5, I mean,
What's happening in this scene?
oh, he's going into cryo sleep.
How fast did that ship go?
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay, because he gets to the other planet in like a day.
Well, maybe it goes
So
into
why is he cryo
hyperspace.
sleeping?
Well, in this,
Oh, it's moving.
yeah, one of the weird things is that in this universe, you have to cryo sleep because of space travel. But they make it seem like
Instantaneous, basically.
well, yeah, it makes it seem like very little time passes as they get from like planet to planet.
Yeah.
But in reality, it would be like years.
Years?
while they're asleep. Yeah, because they had this thing called cryo age, where you have your normal age, which is like I was 25 when I like went into cryo sleep, and then like 10 years later, technically you're 35, but
Yeah.
you wake up, you're still 25.
It's very James.
That's in this movie?
Very James Cameron Aliens thing, right? Like Ripley's 90 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But
That's explained in this movie?
no, it's not explained
Okay,
in this movie.
okay.
I was going to say, I did not get that
Yeah, I didn't
by
get that
watching
either.
this movie.
I think it's explained in some of the supplementary material, but like in this movie, it's basically just like people need to be at a certain place at a certain time, so they're there.
Okay.
and they don't care about,
That seems correct. Yes.
like all,
That I got.
Very correct.
all three of these movies don't care about science or physics or anything like that, and it's fine. It's whatever.
No, the
but-
first one, I felt like it wasn't a joke. This one feels like a joke.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. The first one, maybe it's not entirely believable, but you're invested enough to go along with it and suspend your disbelief.
I was telling you when we were rewatching this that if this whole movie was about Riddick getting thrown into an inescapable prison and him having to break out of prison and make it out, like that would have been a great movie.
That would have been a good movie.
Yeah. What the
Ooh,
mistake
but
this movie
substitute
made.
Kurt Russell for him?
What?
Escape from prison.
Escape from New York.
You want Kurt Russell in this movie? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just, yeah.
Kurt Russell Terrier.
No, I'm saying that's Escape from New York. Prison Planet.
The problem with this movie is that they tried to make it into like a Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Because, when they were developing it, Vin Diesel, like he's a huge Lord of the Rings fan. He's like, I want to make this like an epic space opera thing. And it just didn't work.
The character doesn't.
I don't know that they should have given him so much input.
The character doesn't lend itself to that type of I understand. Like they absolutely.
Like Tom said, it's a guy with a knife.
Yeah, they absolutely. Oh, and Frodo's just a guy with a ring.
No,
How dare
he had
you?
resilience to the ring.
Yeah, and the ring was like a magic ring.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe he has a magic knife.
It was the one knife.
You keep what you kill.
Yes.
Oh, dumb.
So awesome. So badass. Okay, so my favorite part.
And it felt like it was trying to be Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones was.
Yeah, it very much did bite off way more than it could chew. The character does not lend himself to like this huge space opera of a freaking storyline. He's, like you said, Escape from New York. He's very much like the Snake Plissken of space characters.
I didn't think about it. Yes, he is Snake Plissken.
Yes,
he
exactly.
is Snake Plissken.
So
he talks way more than Snake Plissken.
Who would win in a fight, Snake Plissken
He smokes less.
or Big Dick Riddick?
Oh,
Shit.
Comment below, guys.
That's a good question.
Who wins in a fight, Richard B. Riddick or Snake Plissken?
No, but again, who
Wow.
wins in a fight, Kurt Russell or Vin Diesel?
Now
Kurt
or in the
Russell.
prime?
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
I have a feeling
both were in the Fast and Furious franchise.
Oh, that's too bad for Kurt Russell. I just feel like Vin Diesel doesn't know how to make a fist. I feel like he's never been in an actual fight. He just feels,
Kurt Russell feels scrappy.
He was a bouncer before he was a.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I looked at him before. Yeah. He's just arms folding, tank top, shaved head, like,
Where you think you're going?
yeah, Roadhouse.
You know what's funny is that before this movie came out, like in between when Fast and Furious took off and this movie, Vin Diesel tried to basically become more of a professional actor by going into theater. And so like he did like a big run in the UK and
Wait a minute.
theater out there.
There's film of
Vin Diesel in
Vin
the theater?
Diesel on a stage singing and dancing and acting.
I don't know if there's film.
He's
but-
just in
but
My
like-
Fair Lady.
Well, like he wanted to take his acting to like a more serious place as opposed to being like the action guy.
Okay.
And so like one of the things when they were doing this movie was that he was dead set on having Dame Judi Dench in this film, and he basically like stalked her until she agreed to to do this movie because
He
like
Jean-Claude Van Dammed her?
yeah he wanted her in the movie so bad
He got Van Damme.
because he wanted to like learn from her and get to know her and become friends with her.
They were never on screen together.
Well, he got her in
Oh.
the movie, and basically,
She should really thank him for that.
well, they were in scenes together, but they might not have like been on camera together. However, there were scenes where like towards the end when he's doing like the big necromonger fight with the main bad guy. During the downtime, him, Judi Dench, and Karl Urban would all play Dungeons and Dragons in between setups.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's amazing.
Can you imagine playing Dungeons and Dragons with freaking Karl Urban and Judi Dench just sitting on this movie set, nerding out?
I'd actually like to see that movie.
Yeah, that sounds like a blast.
For real.
All right, so let's do. Let's see. You guys have any least favorite moments? I mean, yeah, I know you guys all think the necromoncers are ridiculous, but like, is there something that just bothers the hell out of you about this movie?
Like my biggest problem with this movie is the guy they cast as the Lord Marshal. His name is Colm Feore, and he's like a good actor. Don't get me wrong. He was in the Umbrella Academy. He's like one of these character actors who's been in like a billion different
Thor
things.
Dark World. He's a bad guy, right?
Yeah, he was in Thor. I feel like they should have cast like a better bad guy because I didn't feel like the Lord Marshal was ever very villainous or threatening or like whatever. Like he just seems like a
kind
very
of came off as like a whiny little bitch.
yeah. He seems like he seems like a doughy white guy.
Yeah. For being like a magical warrior killing entire.
He's not menacing
You're
enough.
looking a little
he's killing
soft,
whole
bro.
planets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Karl Urban and his girlfriend are like, this guy is like a dick, and we should kill him. And half of everybody's like, oh yeah, we got to get rid of this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Like that dude was not even popular.
Yeah, he's
And-
not
and
very
he was
menacing.
the focal point. He was their Pope
Yeah.
and their Donald Trump all rolled into one. And they're like,
Listen, we're gonna go to the universe, or I'm sorry, the underverse.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever been there but me.
It's the best.
It's the best
Underverse
place
I've
ever.
ever seen.
Oh my god.
The Donald,
Nomine parte Espiritu Sante.
Donald Trump of the underverse.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Listen, we're gonna take over so many planets.
It's gonna be amazing.
Some people love me, some people hate me.
It is what it is. What you can do about it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty funny.
Wow.
I don't know. Okay, so my favorite part of this movie is the escape from crematorium. Crematorium.
That's the best part of this.
The
whole thing.
concept,
sure.
the concept of that planet is just so much damn sci-fi fun. I love it.
Although the physics of that escape,
That's all. Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
like,
wow.
it drove me crazy.
I want to talk about the beginning of that when he gets to prison and he does that weird thing where he's like wrapping himself up in the
Oh,
chain
it's so
in
badass.
order for him to like spiral down and break the chains,
Yeah.
and he just like lands like a gymnast.
Yes,
Yeah.
awesome.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
But-
Remember?
Remember when?
Remember?
But you know, like just approaching, like that planet would have to be so close to that star that your ship probably wouldn't be able to survive the approach to it.
And like, what is everything else made? What's the prison made of?
It's just underground. Everything's underground, so it doesn't get burnt.
Yeah, but also just like you know, the sun rising over the horizon, like they'd have been fried to a crisp the minute that light
for sure.
came up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of.
To stay here in the shade?
Yeah.
The shade
Well-
of 700 degrees is still 700 degrees,
Yeah,
sir.
it might be more.
Well, again, they were right. If you look at what they were doing, they were right on the cusp of night and day. So it wasn't quite 700 degrees yet.
But also like if they were on the dark side, it would have been like freezing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why they had to stay
No, it
in
was
that.
just negative 200 in the night and
Yeah.
plus 700 in the day.
That's why when they landed the ship, they came into orbit. They couldn't do the normal entry. They had to just like super dive
Where they
into
crash
it.
landed, basically.
Basically, yeah. But they had to because they had to have
Their
that.
pod racer
There's
reverse
like,
thrusters.
there's like a 30-second window where you can make it in without burning to a crisp.
For
And-
me, it's the science of this whole movie that it's just there's no science in it. So to call it science fiction is just a mess. It's more like what we were talking about. Vin Diesel had a hard on for Lord of the Rings
And Judi Dench.
and Judi
And Judi
Dench, and
Dench.
Judi Dench apparently, and this is what we got.
I don't hate it.
And also the original Jack tried to, you know, get her role back.
Yeah, they should have had
Yeah,
the original
but
Jack.
Different girl. Well,
Yeah.
the new one was much better looking.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
it's also not the same character.
No, she changed her name and everything. Don't worry about
I
the other
know.
character.
What is with that?
She faked her
why-
name. Her
why
name was
did-
not actually
If
Jack in the first
I learned
movie.
anything watching these three movies in a row, it's that we made this one and now completely forget that ever happened. Here's a new one. Now let's just completely forget that ever happened. Here's a new one.
Well,
It's like the Mad Max movies where they don't make any sense, but
Mhm.
somehow they all make sense.
they all line up.
Yeah.
There is a couple of threads that go through all three of these, which I was surprised. Like I didn't really realize it. I was with you, and then when I watched these movies this
What
week,
thread?
remember in the first one where he was talking about how much he hated God because I was found in the dumpster with my umbilical cord tied around my neck, and that's how my parents left me or whatever. And then in this movie, in Chronicles of Riddick, it turns out that the Lord Marshal was going around Furia murdering babies with their own umbilical cords. So it's actually like, oh shit, he's actually talking about like his memory of what he blames his parents for was actually the Lord Marshal.
Well, this movie, its whole purpose was to set up like a whole new franchise based around the character of Riddick, and I feel like it was a very kind of half-assed effort. Like they did not know what they were doing here,
Oh, for sure.
and I can kind of see where they wanted to take it, but it was still like I just have to wonder who at Universal was sitting there like, yeah, this is a good idea.
The same people that made 9 Fast and Furious movies.
All right, so let's do final thoughts. Give it a rating. Tom, what do you got for us?
Oh God.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
I know that's my thinking noise. I'm gonna God 2 out of 5.
2? Okay.
I've got nothing good to say. They ruined the
Nothing
first one.
good?
I enjoy the first one.
Okay.
This movie is just abysmal, and the third one sucks worse than this one, though.
Okay, Jude.
What did you rate it?
2.
2. Okay. Yeah,
Don't let him manipulate you.
I do. No, I just couldn't remember what he said. I don't like this movie, and I don't ever want to watch it again.
Wow.
But we've watched some things that have made me that have affected me, and I get mad that I have to watch this bullshit. So I'm not there.
Okay.
But also it kind of ruins the first one for me, which I actually like. So I don't know. For me, I think it's close to a 1-star crap fest for me, but it didn't make me irate. So I'll give it 1.5 crematorias.
Okay. Kadish?
I love how they name stuff in these movies. Crematoria, Furia,
Necromonsters.
Necromonger is the
Necromongers?
weirdest. Who thought of that?
Well, the necromancers
David Toothey.
are people who are resurrect the dead or worship the dead.
The necromancer.
Yeah, is a
Yeah.
necromancer. So the necromonger.
so it's a
They love,
warmonger.
they love death.
Yeah, it's a person who loves death. Exactly.
It's a
Yeah.
necromonger.
Yeah.
Well, monger it stands for dealer. So necromonger is death dealer.
Ooh.
Monger is dealer.
They should have just
Yeah.
called them death dealers. That's badass and scary.
Yeah,
dealers.
haven't you ever heard of a fishmonger? It's
Okay.
a fish dealer. So warmonger.
We all saw the second season of Mandalorian.
I didn't.
Oh, that's a good point.
So yeah, this movie is a bit of a mess. It really is disjointed, and it kind of takes some threads from Pitch Black and incorporates it in there, which is kind of cool that it connects like that. But I feel again, the whole necromonger plot to this movie
Just falls apart.
It's way too epic for what Riddick should be. Riddick should be these small survival stories,
And
in my
ultimately
opinion.
completely unimportant. The
Yeah.
necromonger.
Yeah.
Just
Well, they reversed real hard in the next movie. They were like, never mind.
Yeah, so my rating for this movie is pretty solid 2 stars out of 5. I don't think it's a good movie. I think it ruined the potential for a Riddick franchise.
I agree.
There was just too many crazy ideas smushed together that didn't have a really good focus or a really good story. If the whole movie had been about crematoria and Riddick being put there and having to escape, I think it would have been a really cool, low budget sci-fi adventure film. And you could have had tons of Riddick movies like that, where it's just him in these little intimate situations where he has to survive and he has to be a badass, and that's what you want to see.
Mm-hmm. Die Hard on a Desert Planet.
Yeah, and I don't want to see a big Lord of the Rings style sci-fi epic with
A guy with knives.
Riddick, yeah, guy with knives and glowing eyes. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend this one. I'd say check out Pitch Black and then end it there.
Yeah, I can see that. I will admit you guys are 100% right. This is not a good movie. It's ridiculous, but I still love it because it's a guilty pleasure for me. I will watch this movie again for sure.
Like Samurai Cop.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that?
Or Kung Fury.
No,
Samurai Cop's really bad.
Whoa, that's adventure right
But
there.
it's not. This is not Samurai Cop.
To me, it is.
Oh my god,
No,
that's
not.
ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
That wig that he's wearing in the beginning. Come on.
I'd probably give it a 2.5. Barely. If it was a little bit better, I'd give it a 3. But 2.5 for me. Not a good movie. I wouldn't really recommend it if you're I don't know. It wouldn't be a movie I'd be like, oh guys, you have to go watch Riddick. It's for me. This is a special me movie. I'll watch it on my own time. If I'm bored and I'm not doing anything else, I'll throw Riddick on in the background, just have some fun. Because there's a lot of fun concepts. There's a lot of fun scenes, a lot of fun back and forth between Toombs, the Merc versus Riddick. I really like their antagonistic relationship that they have. Should have taken the money, Toombs. I love that stuff. It's nonsense. And the dogs when he's like, it's an animal thing. And oh, I'm freaking badass. I could talk to the freaking murder dogs. It's cool.
And then in the next one, we get to see his relationship with a dog.
Yeah.
He does love dogs.
That's awesome.
He must love dogs.
Well, it's an animal thing. He loves animals. He likes animals more than people. That's Riddick. I get it. Okay, so that's it. That's our conversation. Anybody have anything else you want to add to the Chronicles of Riddick?
The Chronic what? Chronicles of Riddick.
All right, guys. Before we move on to the last movie in our list, we're going to take a quick break. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, if you want to hang out on our Discord server, there's a link down below in the description of this video. You can hang out with us nerds. We've got a bunch of people in there that talk about movies all the time. You can tag any one of the hosts, and we'll sit in there and chat with you a little bit about some movies and some nerd stuff. We had subjects that you guys might want to touch on in the podcast. You can request certain topics and stuff like that. So we're trying to build the Discord app a little bit more as we move into different avenues of promoting the podcast. So we'd love to have you there. Join us on our Discord app. Follow the link down below, and we'll give you a role as a pod person or a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. You get special access. If you're a Patreon too, you get special access to some chats and some watch-along parties that I do pretty regularly. We watch movies together with our patrons. All right, guys. Last on our list is the movie Riddick, starring Vin Diesel. Go ahead, Jude. Take it away.
All right, sir. 2013 Riddick. Rated R with a runtime of 1 hour, 59 minutes. Had a budget of $38 million.
There we go.
What do you think this brought into the box?
52.
Tomas?
Did the last one make money? Or
No, it broke even.
Barely.
It just barely broke even. I'm going to say the same thing. I'm going to say if it made money, it was $500,000.
$93 million.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is something.
There you go.
Wow.
Right on.
Okay.
So at the end of the Chronicles of Riddick, he becomes the leader of this armada.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning of Riddick, we see that the armada has turned on him.
Of course.
And has left him for dead on this planet.
Not Furia.
Not Furia. Yeah, and he adopts a dog, and rain is coming. I forgot to write.
Oh my God, just winging it.
Yeah, rain is coming, and in the rain, he sees that there are monsters.
Yeah.
And he decides he needs to get off the planet, so he does this beacon thing that alerts everyone that Riddick is here.
Mm-hmm.
Come for me.
Yeah.
And so that brings to that planet Johns' dad from the first movie, his father, because he wants to find out what happened to his son on the first planet from the first movie, and also a bunch of mercs and Katee Sackhoff. And so
And John Bautista. What's his name?
Dave
Bautista.
Dave
Oh,
Bautista.
John Bautista. What the hell is that?
That's his cousin.
I'm terrible at names.
He's like the Frank Stallone.
Frank Stallone.
That's a stunt double.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone comes to this planet to secure the bounty on Riddick. He's worth more dead than alive.
That's different.
They want to cut off his head, but Johns, the leader of the other team, he is much more badass than the other set of mercs. So he wants to find out what happened to his son first before they kill him.
Yeah. This is back to basics for
This
me with
should
this.
have been the sequel.
This should have been the sequel.
Yeah, for sure.
Obviously, there's a little bit of a setup where they use the Necromonger army as kind of like how he got from point A to point B. You could probably easily cut that out and kind of like rearrange things a little bit to make it more palatable and just skip the second movie altogether.
Yeah.
But I really freaking love this movie because it's back to basics. It's Riddick surviving for like 30, 40 minutes of the movie. You get just to watch him be the natural him. Like, I have to get back to my animal side. I got soft, I was in bed with these hookers and I was like, living the life, and I forgot what it was like to be a freaking badass dude, So
we do get nudity in this.
We do get nudity
Twice. Yeah.
That's obviously
much appreciated.
half a star extra just for that.
Absolutely.
No, but I really like the setup. I like how they kind of introduce how he meets this little puppy and he has to try and like figure things out and beat these monsters. And I really enjoy it. I think it's back to basics. It's very much like the first movie, but a little bit different.
It's
different enough.
It's basically a rehash.
It's a rehash for sure, but it's just different enough to make it new. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think they did that sequel and they were like, well, that didn't work.
Yeah.
But
we spent how much on that thing?
Everybody loved that first one, though.
Yeah.
Let's do that again.
Exactly.
And they
Keep
spent
it
way
simple.
less money making this, and it produced a respectable return on their investment.
What was funny is that Universal Studios had the rights to this, and I said there was like a 10-year gap between Chronicles of Riddick and Pitch Black, and it actually was 4 years, and the 10-year gap was between Chronicles of Riddick and this one.
Yeah.
And the reason for that was because Universal they're like, that franchise is dead, but they had the rights to it. And so Vin Diesel, he agreed to do the cameo in Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift in exchange for the rights to Riddick back.
Oh,
Damn.
good for him.
Yeah.
Wait, he made all that money?
That's a flex.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, he financed this movie.
Yeah, they made $60 million off this movie.
So basically, he got the rights back from Universal in order to make this movie because like he was very passionate about the character. And when they were getting ready to shoot, the financing for the film was held up. And so the whole production was about to fall apart. So Vin Diesel like mortgaged his house. He sold his car. Like he basically put up the money to keep this movie going up until the financing came through.
That's crazy.
And he could have literally like lost everything
For sure,
because
yeah.
he was fronting all the money for this film.
Good for him.
Yeah,
That is
and
crazy.
this made a return.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is the only one that really made money.
Bring
Well,
that.
no, the first one made money.
doubled its budget almost.
Well, the
and
first
then
one made a
Well,
lot of
that's a
money on
good point.
DVD.
That's a good point.
This
Yes,
one,
that's true.
Yeah, this one I think tripled its budget.
Yeah, that sounds right.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
So that's great.
This one was a hit, and I remember like this is one of the first movies I saw after moving out here in Vegas, and I went to Galaxy Theaters to go see this, and I was very excited because I was like, oh, like another Riddick movie, finally it's coming out.
Yeah.
And I remember leaving the theater very underwhelmed. I was like, that was basically pitch black.
Yeah.
You know,
But with rain instead of darkness.
yeah,
basically.
yeah. And you know, when I left the theater, I was very disappointed in what I had seen. But upon rewatching, I was like, you know what, this is actually better than I remember it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I said this exact same thing. I watched it the other night and I'm like, wow, this is way better than I remember it being. Because I remember when I first watched it, same as Katee, I'm like, oh, this is just Pitch Black 2.0. But upon rewatching it, like the kind of the way they kind of let the necromonger thing go, I like that setup. Of course they're going to turn on him. He wasn't a believer, you know.
And I like that Karl Urban came back for like a day.
Yeah.
To like shoot like a scene.
And that ridiculous armor
Yeah,
with that haircut.
They got Karl Urban to
Yeah.
cameo. Why not, right?
Yeah, hell yeah. And I like how we haven't seen Riddick really as an underdog yet. In every movie he's been in, he's very much been on top of his game and he's always a step ahead of everybody. In this one, we get to see him for a good long while be like on the ropes, like he's about to die. He even says it in the movie. He's like, I can't take another attack. I can't risk it. I have to go like a vampire in a little freaking tomb and just hide and regenerate.
And like the whole first, I'd say third of this movie is just like him surviving on Not Furia.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing was that in exchange for handing over the title of Lord Commander or whatever to Karl Urban's character, Karl Urban would send him to his home planet. And obviously this planet's Not Furia. So in his head, he doesn't know the name of the planet. He just calls it Not Furia. And so like he's just surviving on here and he meets these creatures who live in the water on this basically desert planet. And these creatures have like this venom in their tails. They're basically like big scorpions. And he keeps capturing these things and working up an immunity to the venom by injecting himself with a little bit.
And he injects his dog too so that his dog can survive.
Yeah. See, this is a really good setup
I
in
know.
this movie.
When I first saw it, because this is the first time I've watched it, when he injects his dog, I was like, oh my God, is he killing his dog?
No.
And then I was like, oh, he's saving his dog.
You're such a lady. It's so cute.
Jude's a big dog lover.
Oh, yeah.
I get very upset when they kill dogs in movies.
Oh, how did you feel about this later on?
I was
When-
very upset.
Yeah. Did you feel, I don't know what the word is, but did you feel good about how he killed the dude who killed his dog? Because that was one of the most brutal freaking deaths.
I feel like he was going to do that anyway.
So it wasn't enough?
No.
Well,
That's
but he
very
did it
upset.
for a good reason.
It's funny because the character of Santana, who's like the main evil merc guy, our introduction to him is he basically kills this woman that he's been raping after he like gives her false hope of like being able to escape.
Because
that's
he was
fine.
getting attached to her
Yeah,
after all that rape.
And that's fine. But then the minute he kills that dog, it's like, oh no.
Oh, he's
That
gotta
guy-
die.
That guy's gotta die.
Fuck this guy.
Since you bring up rape, I have a good question.
Oh yeah, let's talk about rape now.
Yeah. Well, okay, that guy, he rapes Katee Sackhoff, right?
No.
No.
Okay, but he was, and then
He was going to try.
and then they just cut
Oh, yeah.
away, and then she's like, "Yeah, I kicked his ass."
Yeah.
and you're like, "That's not what I saw," but okay.
No, she definitely kicked his ass.
It was just
He was
weird.
like bleeding.
It's a very weird scene where
No,
he's on top of her.
The prisoner girl, her name is
Well, not that one.
Carrie Hilson. She actually auditioned for the part of Doll. And, obviously it went to Katee Sackhoff, but they liked her audition so much that they created the rape victim for her.
What a great role.
Oh, good for them.
We know where we can fit you in this film.
I've got the perfect role for you.
You
That's
got
terrible.
you got rape victim written all over you, sweetheart. Come into my picture.
You're gonna be a star.
You're gonna be a star.
That's terrible. I'm glad they got Katee Sackhoff because, like, there's
Nerd cred.
nerd cred for sure.
Yeah, and you get to see Katee Sackhoff's boobies.
Yeah,
in this movie.
you get some frontal. It's nice.
I fucking love tits.
I love it. Well, Vader's not here. We got to talk about the tits. I did like
I love there's that line where he's like matches your nipples.
matches your nipples.
That was hot.
Honestly, it was.
Predator pink.
Predator pink. Yeah. Like, I
Even
like
she
your
was like,
toenails.
you bad boy. Oh.
I'll tell you what's going to happen after you release me out of these chains. I'm going to
What's
kill
that?
that guy in the first 5 minutes, and then I'm going to go balls deep and doll over here. And
Okay,
she's
but,
like,
Like, what's that
Why
B
did they-
stand for again?
Why did they make her gay in the beginning of the movie,
Hey.
and then by the end she's like,
I'll tell
"Let me
you why.
ask you
Oh,
something,
I got-
sweetly."
because it's
I-
Richard Big Dick
Yeah,
Riddick.
That's why. Because she was gay until she met a man.
Riddick.
None of these men do it for me.
Except that
That
one.
He can get it.
It's Richard Big
Yeah,
Dick
yeah.
Riddick, baby.
And the last thing like Riddick says before the movie ends is tell Doll to keep it warm for me.
Yeah, he does. Tell her to,
What
sit,
a-
on, tell her to
my-
sit on that thing.
What a baller move,
My
dude.
pussy just went cold.
Oh, man. I love it. This movie's great. I love this movie. I think it's a ton of fun. I like the kills. I like how Riddick's on the ropes most of the time, and then when he finally gets the upper hand, he turns back into that Riddick that we met in the first movie, and he's just like ahead of the game.
And I thought the Boss John's character was very interesting because he is the dad of the antagonist of the first movie.
He did not
Papa
look.
John's?
Papa John.
He didn't look old enough to be John's dad.
He
though.
didn't,
No,
though.
he's only like 3 years older
I
than Cole
know.
Hauser.
He looked
Space
like his
travel.
brother.
Yeah.
Space travel.
Yeah. So yeah, space. Exactly.
Relativity.
That's a great way of going around that. Yeah.
You're welcome.
He would be in cryosleep more often.
Because I thought the same thing. I was like, how's that? I'm like, oh, okay, space travel. They could.
Yes. Yeah, they very easily
Sure.
could be.
Sure.
That's a great workaround. Good job, Tom.
Thanks, man.
There's your nerd star for the day.
I love science.
No, I have a ton of fun with this movie. I don't have.
But I liked how Boss John's was basically
Papa John's.
like Papa John's had like a lot of integrity.
Yeah.
You know, unlike
Oh,
his
yeah,
son.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like he kept his word with Riddick and you know, he actually went back and saved him at the end.
Yeah.
Because-
And again, Riddick kind of goes back to in the first movie where he was kind of like playing each person to try and find their weaknesses versus their strength. He does the same thing in this one too. And Papa John's actually ends up to be a stand-up dude.
I appreciate that you said that. Thank you, Papa John's.
That's good now. I'm using it.
That's stupid. But yeah, it's
Papa John's is not a paid supporter of this podcast.
like, it's a complete rehash of the first movie.
Kinda.
And they just kind of say they spend what 15 minutes wiping the second movie just away.
Pretty much.
And so that just leads you to believe, okay, the second movie doesn't belong. Okay, good. Okay. so
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what you wanted.
Let's just move on.
Yeah.
Right. But
Yeah.
I would love that the necromongers came back at the end or something. Just please retie it in, because in the beginning, okay, they abandon him and they're like, we win.
And that's it.
That's it.
They go away.
Yeah.
But here's the thing though, is they're still out there like destroying planets, right?
Yes.
So he's like doing his own thing with the mercs, but meanwhile, in the background, the necromongers are still out there just like wiping civilization out.
Yeah.
That's
And
still
also the
happening.
weird thing is like for 5 years, Riddick has been like the head of the most feared armada in the galaxy. And
That's a good point.
Papa John's is like, I've been searching for you for so long.
Yeah, don't you know who he is? He's basically Thanos.
It
For
makes
5
you
years.
it makes you wonder how much or how many people actually know about the necromongers. If there is like in the second movie, they made them sound like they were
No, they
This-
were kind of mysterious in the second movie. They were like, only few have heard this name.
yeah,
and
nobody's
lived.
left alive
Like,
to tell the tale.
The comet predicts
Yeah.
them, and you're like, it wasn't even a comet.
It was just them.
It was just their messed up armada with their broken engine core.
Yeah, it's like it makes you wonder like how big was this threat really?
It's a good question.
So
Like,
maybe
yeah, how big was the threat?
maybe it's not as big as they say. I mean, they were taking out planets though, so that's kind of I don't know. It's weird. But I would honestly,
Well, it goes back to our Star Wars theory. It's like one settlement on each planet.
yeah,
Okay, maybe. Okay, all right.
yeah. I don't know. It's weird. It's a
Yeah,
weird thing
this
that I'm.
planet's only zoned for one settlement.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm
right?
kind of glad that they just like ignored it because nobody liked that movie.
No, we did. Well, you did.
It's a guilty pleasure.
You tried really hard to give it like a
It's
higher rating.
Just a guilty pleasure for me. I'm not going to defend that movie as being good. It's just
That's a
guilty
good
pleasure
point.
for me. But this movie, I will defend it. I think this movie was solid. Yes, it's a rehash, but it's still a ton of fun. It harkens back to where this whole thing started. And I think honestly, if they wanted to, they could continue on from here
It's a Riddick movie.
and make more of
Yeah.
these.
Well, actually, funny you should mention that.
Are they making another one?
There is another Riddick movie.
I was gonna say I wouldn't
Oh my
mind
God.
another.
I hope he has
Riddick
a
movie.
son in this one, and he's
No,
raising his
no,
son.
get out of here. No.
It's being called Riddick for Furia, and it's basically he goes back to Furia.
I would like to see Fury.
I would like to see that too.
Damn it! I gotta see that stupid movie too.
That's how they get you.
So have
And
you guys,
just like that, they suck me back in.
as an honorable mention, have you guys seen the cartoon that they made?
No,
I recall, but I don't remember it.
I watched it. It was actually
Yeah,
really good.
I recall
like
there being one.
I know you don't like animated things, so I mean it's not.
Oh, it was for adults.
yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was
Yeah.
like Eon Flux type animation.
Yeah, I guess so. You could say
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah.
very anime-ish.
Yeah, kind of like early anime,
Yeah.
American anime.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It was kind of like, it was basically another one, like Katee said, like you have to have it in small scale. So Riddick gets captured by this collector of things, basically like the Marvel collector. You know, he just like collects species and people and keeps them in tanks and stuff. They did that with Riddick because Riddick is like this one unique, the last Furian, right? So they try to collect him, and he has to basically jailbreak out of this place.
Yeah, I'd
So-
like that.
But it's a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
The cartoon was meant to be a bridge between Pitch Black and Chronicles of Riddick. So it came out before the Chronicles of Riddick,
Ah.
and it was supposed to set the stage for
Did it?
all the stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it came out after that.
No.
Oh, okay. I'm mistaken then. Okay. Yeah, I enjoyed it. If you guys are looking to watch a cartoon about Riddick, if you want some more stuff in that, it's out there and it's pretty good. It's a lot of fun.
I'm good.
So Jude's like, no. So this movie that they're making, do you know he's just gonna? Is there any more information you have? This is the first I'm hearing about it.
No, the last recorded kind of like update on it was in 2019, and they basically said they finished the script, and now I'm assuming that they're probably looking for some type of financing.
Does Vin Diesel still own the rights to it?
I believe he does. Yeah.
He's got to make. He has to have enough money from all these
Oh,
Fast and Furious movies.
guaranteed.
He should just do it himself.
He probably can.
$30 million, keep it real low budget.
Never make a movie with your own money.
Hey.
That's rule number one.
Oh yeah.
Some of the best movies out there are made with people's personal money, though. George Lucas did Empire Strikes Back with
Yeah.
his own money.
The Room,
The Room.
fantastic.
Hello.
I mean, visionary.
Absolutely. Lucas didn't finance it with all of his own money. That was partially 20th Century Fox.
I'm just
man,
saying.
I
I'm just
saw-
saying.
I saw that documentary. They said he did it. He paid for the whole thing.
I mean, the Chronicles of Riddick was financed by Vin Diesel. Great movie.
No, Chronicles of Riddick was financed by Universal.
Which one was his own money?
This
Oh, this
is the
one.
third
I'm
one.
sorry.
The
Yeah,
third
this one.
one.
See,
The
yeah.
third one.
Perfect. This one.
Well, no, they had investors, but like he basically had to front the money up until the investors' money was available.
Mm.
He had to pay the catering bill and yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah, that makes
Craft
sense.
And
services.
another
Yeah,
thing,
craft services.
another interesting thing is that he wanted to shoot this movie on film, but because of the low budget, they were forced to shoot on digital video.
Isn't that amazing?
And David Toothey,
Toohey.
David Toothey. Sorry, I'm the destroyer
You're
of
just
words.
the
David Toohey, he basically added a post-production film grain effect to the whole movie to make it look more filmish.
Nice.
And you know, it's kind of interesting that we got the same writer and director on all three of these movies, and they're so uneven.
Very.
all
no
throughout the whole
kidding.
thing.
My God.
Well, at least they. What I do appreciate is that they took the criticism from the second movie and they scaled back.
Can you imagine they doubled down?
Right? What if they went full Lord of the Rings with this
Like,
and it was
we're-
all just necromonsters?
to Underverse now.
Yeah, exactly. They even hint to that too. Remember when he's standing in front of the window and it's like
Oh,
Karl Urban and he's looking at like basically a black hole, I guess. Like they hint that they could be a continuation of that story.
Well, don't worry, they made a third one.
I really thought I was going to see Karl Urban like coming back to that planet to like finish him off.
Yeah, right. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They could only afford him for a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he spoke. Did
They
he?
were all out of wild
Barely.
turkey.
Yeah.
He had a couple
No,
lines.
he spoke.
He had a different haircut. I know that. Not that sweet mohawk 9 rat
Ricky.
tail
A lot
mullet
more
thing.
eye makeup in this one too.
I said in Chronicles of Riddick, he looked like Ivar the Boneless from
he
Vikings.
did.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, very
Yeah,
Ivar.
He had the Ivar haircut, and in this one, it was just a wig. So
This one was rated R, right?
They're all rated R.
They're all rated R?
No, actually, the second one was PG-13.
Well, that's why it sucks.
yeah.
Oh.
But the director's
was?
cut was rated R.
I watched the
Oh,
director's cut.
okay.
All it is basically a couple F-bombs, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
But this one, I like the brutality in this one. They went full.
because they
Well,
were
this one kicks ass.
Yeah.
So yeah.
because Universal was trying to make a franchise out of it. They were like, we need this to be PG-13, so they had to cut out like a lot of like violence and.
When are they going to learn?
profanity.
I love when we use the word try, we mean fail.
Yeah.
They did their best.
Your best.
Yeah, they did their best.
Losers do their best.
Right.
Winners go and fuck the prom.
That's right.
All right. Final thoughts on Riddick. What do you guys think? I think this one visually looks the best. It harkens back to the original. I said that a million times already. I think this is a solid sequel to the first one.
Yeah, this one redeems the franchise in that sense that it brings it back to what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
They're not trying to cram a bunch of nonsense that doesn't make any sense down your throat that they themselves are not behind very well. So yeah, it does bring it back. It's more Riddick.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the second one is just so ridiculous. But yeah, this one's fun. Yeah, it's okay.
What out of 5? What do you give it?
3 out of 5.
3?
Yeah, I don't love it, but I don't hate it.
What'd you give the first one? 3.5?
3.5.
3.5?
Only because the second 2 suck so bad.
Okay, if the second one gets erased.
If the second one gets erased, Pitch Black's a 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Pitch Black's decent. It's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, I agree.
It's badass. It doesn't insist on itself too much, and it's fun, you know. And he's super badass in it. Like you can't complain about him being non-badass. He is very badass in Pitch Black.
Yeah.
And he's not so badass in the second one, and in this one, he's kind of older Riddick, but definitely still a total.
I'm
badass.
getting too old for this shit.
Oh my god!
You imagine if he says that in the fourth one?
Ugh.
Can we get Mel Gibson and Danny Glover?
Oh, it'd be so
in
great.
there? And they're mercs.
I do want to see Toombs again. He got left in a cage on crematoria. I would like to see him
Oh
return.
yeah, the dogs are there.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't kill him for some weird reason.
We just locked him up.
Yeah.
Jude, final thoughts on Riddick.
So I have mixed emotions about this. Like, I feel like this should have been the sequel to the first one.
It was.
Yeah. And I feel like if I get another one in this more like this line of movie, then I'll probably like it. I'll like this one more. But because that second one is still there, I still just I don't
It's
really
like a dark stain on
like
the
I
franchise.
almost don't
Oh, yeah.
care. I kind of do want another one to erase the stench of the second one.
Okay.
So I will give this one, like, I think that the first one is still the best. This is a decent sequel to the first one, though. Again, that second one kind of ruins it, though. So I'm going to give it 2.5.
That's it?
Alien dogs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, let's
But, like, you know what? I agree with Tom. If that second one didn't exist, that first one gets bumped up.
Okay.
And everything else does, too. But that second one just
I
fucking
can't
kills
believe you gave this one a
it.
2.
It kills it.
A 2? Really?
Well,
for
I
this one?
gave the second one a 1.
I know, but this is way better than the second one.
I said 2.5.
That's still really low. I'm surprised. Okay. All right. Cool. Okay, how about
My
you?
vote, my choice.
That's fine. I'm just surprised. That's
Yeah,
all.
women are equal.
With the
bro.
dog, with the dog whole
They
plot line.
killed the dog.
I know, but that's
I
what
hate
gave
the-
him his revenge.
But I hate the dog.
He was
plot
going to
line.
kill that guy anyway.
Yeah,
Why?
I hate the
he
dog
went
plot
full
line.
John Wick.
Yeah,
after
I
that.
love
No,
that.
he didn't. He went 0 John Wick. I wanted him to go John Wick and avenge his dog. He was going to kill that guy anyway.
Okay. Kadish, how about you? What's your rating for this one?
This one is a solid 3 predator pink nipples from me
Oh.
because
3 sets of nipples or 3 nipples?
Ooh,
ooh.
these are Martian titties.
Are we doing total recall rules here?
Which one's the fake one?
But yeah, like this got back to basics. It's basically the exact same story as Pitch Black, but Pitch Black worked. And I liked the characters in this one. All the mercs were very well defined, and they had fun interactions with one another. And Riddick went back to like his old stalking self, where he was just kind of like, like there's a good chunk in the middle of this movie where he just disappears, and we're just with the mercenaries for like a good amount of time. And I don't know, there was a lot about this that upon the rewatch I really enjoyed, because when I first saw this in the theaters, I was kind of like down on it, like I didn't think it was very good. But it holds up on repeat viewing. And so like I give it a solid 3 stars, just like the first one. So my thing is Pitch Black, 3 stars, Chronicles of Riddick 2, and Riddick, 3 stars again. So
Right on.
If these 3 movies had to fight each other, which one would win?
Pitch Black.
Pitch
Yeah.
Black.
Pitch Black.
Ooh, if the 3 Riddicks had to fight, which Riddick would win?
Oh,
Pitch
this
Black.
one. What?
Johns kicks his ass in the first one. He
No,
kills
no,
he
no.
kills the wizard barehanded in the second one.
Yeah, he's the chosen one in
Yeah.
the second one.
He's got like
he basically has
a
superpowers.
superpower with like a handprint that like makes him explode.
Yeah.
He's like, he's Space Jesus in the second one. It's ridiculous.
He's Mary Sue Riddick.
Yeah.
He's big dick Mary Sue.
You're very right.
Oh,
You're very
brutal.
right. Yeah, for me, this is definitely solid 3. I agree with Kadish. Pretty much my sentiments exactly. I like how they set it up. I like how he's down on his luck in the first half, and then he goes back to his old ways. In the second half, we get to see the mercs. They're a lot of fun. Technology gets taken way back to a more realistic sci-fi feel. Everything works from this one, and I hope they continue that. When and if they make a 4th one, I hope they continue this style. Do like Escape from New York with Riddick, basically. All right, that's it. That's our discussion for the Riddick movies, the Big Dick Riddick. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us know what you thought. Which one is your favorite movie in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're listening to this podcast on the audio only side, don't forget we have a ton of content that we put out on YouTube every week for you to enjoy that we don't put out on Apple or Spotify. So jump into the YouTube side, like, subscribe, help us get to that 1,000 subscribers. All right, guys, where can we find everybody on the socials? Jude, where can they find you at?
You can find me at I am Jude Juju on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
Right on. And Matthew Kadish.
You can find me at Matthew Kadish, Kadish on Twitter, and kadishbooks.com takes you to my Amazon page.
All right. And Tom, where can they find you?
If you want to make friends and reach out and say hello, you can find me on Instagram, Big T2681. Check it out.
Right on.
And you're on the dating apps too. What's your handle?
It depends. I'm a different persona on each one of those.
Okay, that's smart.
That's going to be Big Dick Riddick coming up really soon.
What's that BD stand for?
All right, guys. I am the host, the Salty Nerd. You can catch me on Twitter at salty_nerd. And as always, stay salty, my friends.